Welcome to Spike's Bikes, where we talk about all things mountain biking, from races to trips or just plain riding with your buddies. Sit tight, we have a great episode coming up. Some people wanted to know what I do to get ready for a race, so I figured I would get on here and pretty much explain to you that I don't do a whole lot because, well, I'm not that serious of a racer. I just like having fun, taking part in the sport. But to get you some more information on that, I'm actually going to react to a GMBN video and kind of add my 2 cents into what Neal from GMBN has to say. So let's take it from here.
I've probably done my fair share of mountain bike races in the last 20 years. I've made a lot of mistakes, that's for sure. But I'm going to give you some tips on how to approach your first race. So the first thing to do really is try and prepare physically, to try and identify the demands of that race, and maybe this might inform you into the type of race you do if this is your first ever event. If you're a fitter rider, then maybe think about heading out and do a cross-country race. Maybe your skills are really good, but maybe you're not quite so fit, then maybe go for downhill. So try and identify these demands as early as possible, try and get as fit as you can, try and ride as much as you can. That's going to make your life easier, but probably going to make your first race more fun as well.
So my first race was called the Long Socks Classic at Ganaraska Forest. I kid you not, I swear to God, it was like 12 kilometers of straight uphill to start the race. I don't even know where they found that much uphill, but it was pretty much switchbacks. You went up and then you went 30 meters down and then you climbed back up in the switchbacks. It was really ridiculous. I entered for a 64-kilometer race just to support the race. I knew I was only going to try to do 34. I got 22 kilometers in before I had to call it quits and head back to the start, so my name didn't even show up in the record books there. I've looked. But if you're wondering if you have to do well on your first race, no, you don't. You just got to go out and understand that you're there to have fun and enjoy competing in the sport. So that's really what I do. I just go out and take part in the sport. I tell all my friends it's like playing softball. When it's my turn to bat, I'm going to put my all into it. I'm going to keep my eye on the ball. I'm going to try to get in the right stance. But once my turn is over and I'm back in the dugout, I'm having a laugh and hanging out with the rest of everybody like normal people. I'm not 21 years old. I'm not trying to make the Olympics. And if you're not trying to be a competitive racer, I don't know how much you have to do to get ready. I mean, do what you feel is most comfortable. You are representing yourself. If you're there to have fun, go out and have fun. Enjoying yourself is more important than, holding yourself to a standard that you just simply can't keep up to.
What about the mental approach to racing? Often people come apart at the seams when it comes to race time and time to go. How do you try and stop this? Well, everyone gets nervous, people try and prove something to their mates or whatever, but just relax and ride like you know how. It will disappear with a bit of practice, but you'll also know how to recognise it and deal with it. Maybe try to recreate the race situation. Maybe time it if you're racing downhill and try and put a bit of pressure on yourself. I know loads of people who are super fast on Strava, or at a race where you can do as many runs as you want, but many of them can't back it up if you only have one go and the pressure is on, so try and practice this.
So what he's doing in this video is he's getting ready for an enduro race, which is a timed stage downhill race. You have a lot less pressure. If you like riding fast downhill, I strongly recommend you try an enduro race over an XC race because the pressure's only on you for 3 to 5 minutes at a time. The rest of the time you get to relax and enjoy yourself and whatnot. If you're not super comfortable with downhill and you think XC is going to be more your thing, then yeah, definitely get out there, try an XC race. It's what I did. After the Long Socks Classic I did, and I think 2014 or 2015, maybe even 2013, I'm not sure. But I kind of beat myself up mentally and I didn't do any more races until I got a new bike, and then I joined a local Thursday night short race at Durham Forest before they stopped doing it. And I found that to be, my thing for a little while. I came in dead last a bunch of times. I've said that many times. I think I did 5 races that year, like 3-lap races. And I came in dead last 3 weeks in a row. And then I came in like 7 out of 9. And then I got all the way to like 5th out of 9th on my very last week. And then the race series was over, and then COVID happened. So I couldn't race anymore.
Now it's time to enter the race, which is pretty easy to do nowadays. Get online, look on Facebook, look on websites. There's loads of information out there. Find a race you know you can compete in. So maybe don't go for an epic 400-kilometre challenge if you're new to riding. In the UK, there's a good range of races catering for the top pros who want to race downhill, cross-country and marathon. But there's also grassroots cross-country, downhill and enduro racing. You might need to travel to the bigger events like the Enduro World Series or World Cups, but you'll need to qualify for these first by racing locally and nationally. Do your research online and speak into riding mates. You can learn a lot from riders with experience, but don't take it all for gospel. Some people love to tell a war story from a dramatic race, like how they were T-boned off a cliff at the Mega Avalanche. At a lot of races, for every super serious race ahead that's there's another person who's there just for the experience and won't risk life and limb to beat everyone. Even check out YouTube for previous headcams of the race to learn about it. Right, now you know the event, you know what to expect, and you're working towards getting ready mentally and physically, it's time to make sure you have the right equipment and your bike is up to it. Again, read the race website, there should be a list of compulsory and recommended kit. For example, downhill races often make full face helmets, back protectors, gloves and knee pads compulsory, or maybe just recommend some of it. Same with enduro, some series have full face helmets as a must. And don't forget to take spares for your bike.
So I'm going to get a bunch of pictures of all of my gear and my equipment, and I will put them in the video for you guys to see what equipment I have. Some of you have the same general equipment I have. I would strongly recommend that you go for something, if you're unfamiliar with what equipment works and doesn't, I strongly recommend you follow the route that I went. I went and got some name brand stuff. I've got Fox stuff for the most part, but it doesn't have to be Fox. I'm not sponsored by Fox. Fox does not sponsor this channel in any way. I do like their stuff mainly because with the size of their company, I imagine they have a large R&D department. So, if you don't have a lot of money to go buy stuff twice or 3 times over, if it doesn't work, I don't know how many experiments you want to do trying to get the right stuff. So I just went for name brand stuff. And for the most part, it's worked out for me. I've tested my pads a couple times. They work. I've not tested my full face helmet just yet, but I've tested my other Fox helmets. I'm still here. So. All right, everyone. Joey and I are going to show you my kit, my gear, everything except for the first aid kit, which I mentioned before. So I've got a pair of clipless shoes. These are my clip-ins right here. And then I've got a set of flats, some 510s. There is some very inexpensive shin guards, mostly for practicing and whatnot. Those are my Fox Enduro knee sleeves, well tested. They're D30, that orange plastic stuff. I have 3 pairs of gloves, mostly because I don't throw away the gloves. I keep them for spares in case of an emergency, a rainy day or something. Just recently I picked up a chest, back, shoulder, and elbow shirt, recommended from one of the people in our group. Haven't tried it yet, but it's well reviewed, so I'll take their word for it. We've got Fox Enduro knee, elbow sleeves. Those are tested as well. They work great. Then I've got my helmet, my Fox Pro Frame and goggles. Got my Fox Speed Frame helmet. There's a backpack. It's a hydration pack, but I don't actually keep the hydration in it because I don't drink a lot when I'm on trail, and I have a water bottle for that. But it's great for like mid-range back protection, also keeping things you need like a pump and other stuff, your phone and whatnot, while you're on trail. Here is my Cat 5 bag. A few of us in the group have these. They're phenomenal for keeping all of this stuff in. It fits darn near everything from there. Over here we've got my tools, which if you're going to do races, I recommend you put your bike tools in something portable. This is a Husky to-go bag. I just bring all of my tools to the trail with me. That way I don't have to worry. Very important tool most people don't have in their kit is a torque wrench, suitable for fixing your bike and tightening down your bolts. As you saw in that video, it's important to go over your nuts and bolts before each race. It's very important. I'm going to move over here and I'm going to show you my two bikes. I just recently changed from a trail bike to a cross-country Rocky Mountain Element C50. This is what I'm using for doing cross-country stuff and local riding. And as we move up here, we've got my Rocky Mountain Instinct. I'll back up so I can see the whole thing. That's my Rocky Mountain Instinct. I use that for all of my enduro races, stuff like that. You can see in the background I've got some spare tires there, and I've got a set of spare wheels up there. So equipment is right. If you have an XC bike, probably don't enter a downhill race. If you have a downhill bike, probably don't enter an XC race. What equipment you have really matters for what you're doing. Not to the absolute fullest. Most of us are going to race here in Ontario, and for the most part, any race in Ontario, you can get away with riding a hardtail, even a rigid bike. You could probably race a gravel bike in many of these cases and still get away with it if you're a skilled enough rider. So don't worry too much about your bike, but do keep it in mind. And I strongly recommend, if you're doing any kind of enduro race or downhill race, that you have the proper safety equipment for that. So let's see what he has to say about spares.
So I like to make sure I'm super prepared at races and take spare everything really. I take my full kit bag. You never know if maybe practice is going to be wet, so you get through loads of that. I'm at an enduro race, so I've got a couple of options. I've got my bum bag, camelback, and I've got my bigger one. That's the one with the back protector, that's the Kudu. I'm taking that one today because I'm also taking spares, so a spare tube. I've got some bars and gels in there, I've got some water. I've also got a bottle on my bike, but it's a super hot day today, so I've probably got about 2 litres of water. I've also got my mini camera. If you can, take a mechanic with you to help you out, fix your bike. And then spares, I've got things that I might need. You know, you never know if there's gonna be a shop near the race where you might need to pick up extra bits. So I've got a chain, got some tubular sealant, got a couple of tubes, things like lubes, spare brake pads, and all the tools to look after my bike. So pumps, shock pump, first aid kit, never know when you might need that, and spare tires. Try and make.
So first aid kit is a good mention. That's why it's important you check out some videos and do a little bit of research. I have pretty much everything he has there except for a first aid kit. So, you know, we all learned something today. I am going to make a point of adding a first aid kit to my gear for taking 2 races, just because I did injure myself last year. I broke my thumb in the first race of the year, and I wasn't able to race anymore, any more competitive races anyway. I mean, I did get out and ride. I hit Quebec and stuff like that, but as far as races are concerned, it was really hard to hold on to the handlebars with a broken thumb. So
make sure your bike is prepared before the race. There's nothing more frustrating than spending your money on entries, fuel, accommodation, food, and then your bike letting you down. So I really checked this bike out before I came here. It's race day today, and I did some practice yesterday. I rode 4 of the stages. So again, I'll check the bike over afterwards. I actually had a couple of loose bolts on it. And it's good to do that after that practice. Don't do it in the morning of the race because you might find something wrong and then it's too late. So try and keep on top of your bike. Check the most common things really, like, you know, your tyres, check the sidewalls, check the chain, lube it up, and you're ready to go. Time to fuel up and prepare for the race. If you're doing an endurance race, then you need.
So this is kind of an important one. This is one of the ones where I lack in extremely. I'm a single guy. I live by myself. I'm not making a big old mess in my kitchen. I'm not cooking, you know, potatoes and all that stuff so that I can super carb load. I do try to eat like pasta and whatnot the night before because I understand there's lots of carbs in that, or I eat a lot of rice just because They have very inexpensive ways to get a large amount of rice cooked. So, you know, fueling up before a race, I mean, that's something that we all kind of have an idea about. I'm not really super sticky about this stuff. I'm not the best at it. I'm really actually horrible at it. My diet is not the greatest, but as I'm getting older, I'm trying to make some improvements to my diet this year. So we will see if I make any improvements. I'm actually considering making a little series on getting ready for the first O Cup that's going to take place at Wood Newton. Although I got to check the dates and see when that is. Who knows? Keep an eye on the channel. You might find that my next video is about me getting ready for the O Cup race and what's entailed for that, and you can kind of follow along with me getting ready on, say, a more serious note, because for the most part, I really, like I said, I said time and time again, I don't do a lot to get ready. I just go out to have fun, but I may actually put in some effort towards this O Cup race so that I don't look totally embarrassed.
To carry some food, so just make sure you plan this ahead and even practice what food you're going to take, just to make sure it doesn't disagree with your stomach. So there you go, guys, there's a few tips on how to do your first race. Don't be too nervous, everyone's got to start somewhere and we all mess it up, so get entered and hopefully have some fun. If you want to see the video of me racing the Hard Rock Enduro, click to the left of the screen for that one.
So no matter what happens, just try to understand what race you're getting into. Try to pick a race that's going to work well for, you know, your riding style. Just, you know, and you know, watch a few videos, head on over to YouTube University, do your best to see what goes on there. And in the end, you'll find that, you know, you're not in over your head. You do not need to approach any mountain bike race like you are trying out for the Olympics. If you've never done it before, my strongest suggestion is to just get out there, find something local. The Woodies races for us here in Uxbridge is a fantastic place to start. And, you know, you get a feel, you'll quickly get an understanding of how much quicker the actual competitive guys are than you, and, you know, what equipment is necessary. It's always good to start small. I mean, if you really want to, go big, you know. Anyways, I'm about to sign off here, so whatever you do, have fun and ride it like you stole it.